If you were wondering where we went, we were on break.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. All right. It's our last show before last show of 2015. How you like that?
Last show of 2015?
Last show of 2015.
When the fuck was it 2015? Oh my god.
Oh my god, this is so old.
I was like literally like it was
Like,
yesterday. It was
I
like
know.
2014, and then
Like,
I was
oh
like
my
working,
God.
and then it was like,
Oh my
I
god.
literally died. I
Seriously?
literally pooed in my
No.
pants. It was so
Oh
crazy.
my god.
And it wasn't
Oh
even the right
my.
color.
I
And then so I got a new car.
Oh, tell me.
I went from like a 7 to a 9.
Oh my god. How did you go? How did you ever get back?
Poo my pants.
All right. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, we have a 52-year-old father who identifies as a 6-year-old girl. Now, we are quite tolerant on the show.
Yeah.
We have made no secrets about it. Some of our regular listeners are furries who are largely ostracized by mainstream culture. I have a personal friend of mine who is undergoing a transition from a man to a woman.
Yep.
Yep. I'm trying to get him, her on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to make that happen. I'm not entirely. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is
You're not doing a very good job.
no, I'm not. That is a very good point. The point I'm trying to make is that we are familiar, let's say, with
A variety
a lot of cultures, a lot of different ways of thinking.
Yes. Of
lot of
perspectives.
A 52-year-old man identifying as a 6-year-old girl,
Which is really, really specific.
oddly specific.
Yeah.
You want to hear some audio?
You got me. I do.
Let's hear some audio. Oh, hold on. I have it queued up in the wrong one.
Ugh.
I fail. I fail really hard.
So,
The link for this, by the way, will be on brainstatic.net and totalbspodcast.com. Here we go. It's loading now.
stay tuned for more weirdness.
Load some more.
Stop
That's
being
cool.
trans or leave.
This is the audio.
So that,
Yes.
to me, stop being trans isn't something I could do. It'd be like telling me to stop being, 6'2" or leave. And I was who I was. I was trans before we married. I was a trans parent for
I don't know what that popping
23
is.
years.
I don't hear anything about
It
it.
floored me, it scared me, because I didn't know how to not be trans.
It's a little bit of popping on it. I don't know where that's coming
I
from.
don't hear
Stephanie
anything.
Walsh, welcome to Daily Extra. You are one of the people profiled in the Transgender Project web series and as well the TV show Am I a Boy or
Oh, there it
Girl?
is.
Why did you decide to go so
Digital
public with
noise.
your story?
Yeah, there's a few issues we got to work out.
I paid a pretty heavy price for transitioning, and so at a certain point, I thought,
I need to emphasize, by the way, I'm going to scroll down a little bit so you guys can have a better idea. Just the picture that's up on the main screen here. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have any idea what it means to feel like you don't belong in your own body. I'm not
Sure.
going to sit here and pretend like I have any clue as to what that feels.
Sure.
Feels like. When you look at the picture, the only word that comes to mind is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not so much that you want to be a woman. I've
Sure.
I've seen enough documentaries.
A fully
I've done
functional,
enough.
a fully functional, age-appropriate woman. Yes.
I understand. That being
a
said,
woman that is parallel your own age.
yes,
Yes.
but
But vice versa.
I would encourage you. Like I said, I will link it on the website. Seek this out so you can watch this guy. I just said this guy. I don't even know if that's right. This guy, this girl, this person.
So essentially, the way it works out is that he knew he was transgender, although being married and having children of his own. He knew he was transgender, but when he decided to go all the way with it,
Yep.
it wasn't just that he was any kind of transgender. He, in fact, was a transgender in the way that he was stuck in the body of a 6-year-old girl.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird part.
I've already lost everything, and everything's
I'm not
happened.
sure if it's just weird or like. I mean, again, I'm no expert on this stuff, but I mean,
Sure.
if you're regressing to a childhood state, no matter what gender that is, I believe that's like a psychological issue.
And to an extent, look, I here's the thing. Like,
Because
he's not hurt.
If you're regressing backwards in time to where you're gonna where you're then a dependent on other people, you know what I mean? Like it's I don't know. Also,
if you're not hurting anyone, I don't. It goes back to like for example, when we first. I remember. I hate. This is going to be a horrible comparison. I'm just going to acknowledge that right now. Let's just acknowledge that it's going to be a horrible comparison. But when we first on this show started talking about furries, it's kind of. I kind of feel like it's a similar argument, and here's why. Because in a sense, you're not hurting anyone. However, this guy, like, if you're going to go back to being a 5-year-old girl,
mm-hmm.
you are. This is where you start differing from a trans person or any other lifestyle,
right.
Because now you are essentially saying you're going to go back to a point where you are going to be dependent,
right,
on other people.
Now, again, I mean, I don't know if he wants to. I don't know anything about the story. Is this just something that he does for fun, or is this like a?
Oh, we got more.
A 24/7 thing.
Here we go.
I'm going to be me, and I'm going to show other people that it's okay to be.
What 5-year-old girl do you know that goes, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to show everyone
Well, I
else?
mean, and like I said, I'm no expert in this field. However, my thought upon seeing the story was whatever happened to, because he abandons his children to live this life.
I would imagine.
And
Feminine for a guy.
my
So by coming
immediate
completely
response
out
was
of the
whatever
box,
happened to just like deadbeat dads leaving.
Says he used to be an 8-year-old girl, but went even younger at the
Oh.
insistence of his adopted sibling. A year ago, I was 8 and she was 7, and she said to me, I want you to be the little sister, so I'll be 9. I
So
said,
they're
"I
okay.
don't
So
mind
they're
going to
both
6."
in this life. So he and this sibling of this adopted whatever is happening. Yeah, this is.
Are we supposed to be accepting of this, though?
I'm not going to answer that, but I am going to say that this is well beyond my scope of understanding.
Oh, God.
Just liberated me to the point where let's do this, let's talk about it, and let people know.
I don't think it's right or wrong, but the thing is,
2007, when I actually stepped forward and started getting myself educated as to.
I
who
can't say if
was
it's
and
right or
what this
wrong,
was,
but I guess where
I would.
where it gets weird is that, like, are you fetishizing it? You know what I mean?
It doesn't strike me when you listen to when you listen to her talk, I guess, it doesn't strike me as a sexual thing.
Okay.
It might be, but I'm saying it doesn't strike me. It strikes me as I guess I don't know. I don't.
I'll go back to what you were saying. If it's not hurting anybody physically, I guess
But I'm saying, like, if you
live
have
your
a
life.
kid,
However, if you have children,
it's not affecting
that's
just you. It's affecting everyone.
But that's you can claim, I guess, that would be psychological abuse.
I don't know if I necessarily claim it's abuse, but it's definitely
Because
it's not.
if you're living in the state of a perpetual 6-year-old, you're not going to be able to care for your own children.
There you go.
I was
So-
pretty naive.
But that
Couldn't have said it better.
naivete would quickly come to a crashing halt. At age 46, after 23 years of marriage and 7 kids,
7.
Stephanie
Turn that air
realized
conditioner off.
she wasn't a crossdresser.
Other
She was
side, bottom switch,
transgender, a person whose gender is
Bottom
different than the sex they were
Thank you.
assigned at birth.
I'm genderqueer. I'm queer. I'm queer.
That's fine.
Which is fine. That part of it, like, it's like whatever. Like if you're into men, if you're into women, if you think you're a man, if you think you're a woman, like,
I tell you what, if we have anybody listening right now who has any knowledge on this matter, let us know.
listen,
We're
like,
curious.
I guess I'm trying to get. I have a friend of mine who's going through this stuff right now, and I really want.
But is this friend of yours going back to being a child?
No,
Yeah. Well, see, I can
no.
I can be way more understanding of that.
She, I guess it's soon to be she. I guess she's the same age as me, exact same age.
Okay.
And
I would assume that would be the more appropriate route to take, but I mean, who knows? I think the age thing, is where it gets weird.
yes.
Yeah.
So, having said that, what have you heard from people?
A lot of feedback. There's a lot of positive feedback. There's a lot more people that are trans.
Okay, so at what point do you look at your friend and you say, dude, what the fuck?
Right. See, I
You know
think a
what I
lot
mean?
of this
Like,
too,
it's-
and that's where it becomes concerning too, is that like a lot of this decision is being made with sexual awareness in mind,
Sure.
which is why it makes me question as to if it's being like fetishized or whatever, and that just that worries me. But that's about it. I mean, and like I said, I don't know
Well, yeah,
anything
like,
about.
we've listened to about 2 minutes of this guy, roughly. Like I said, I mean, there's nothing to this, to me, that describes anything really.
Right.
I mean, there might be. I don't know. I'm not in this guy's life.
Is
but-
that his parents?
Yep.
Well, I mean,
You know, they haven't spoken yet in the audio we're listening to.
at least they're Oh wait, I have a mummy and a daddy. Adopted
don't
mummy
know.
and daddy who
I-
are totally comfortable with me.
I don't know.
So then he found people who are willing to work with him. So okay, fine, whatever. Okay, so
I
we
don't
have.
know, but here's the thing. Like, I don't know if this really helps anything.
So like you're saying they're enabling and they're not necessarily.
Possibly.
Okay.
Maybe.
It's like a lot of people come out to me. I get guys that you wouldn't think that want to wear like cops and bikers and can I wear a dress? So it gets
Okay,
very
that's fine though. If
playful
you want to be,
because-
if you are in fact transgender, you can go wear a dress, or whatever. But
None of that bothers anybody in this room.
I'm not gonna judge. I can't judge. But yeah, it's odd.
I'm trying my best to be open-minded about this, but I'm just saying.
See, this is the kind of stuff like I'll be thinking about it later. I'm gonna like research it, and then that's one more thing that's gonna show up on my Google searches. You know,
Yeah.
should the police ever need to?
But
Because
it-
I always do
well,
that.
let's-
Like I watch those like murder documentaries or whatever, and they'll
Yeah.
go take somebody's. Like, well, it said on December whatever you searched. I'm like, I was just curious.
Yeah, but here's what, and this is what I think. Quite frankly, I apologize for keep referring to him, her as my friend, but like I don't want to out them. You follow me?
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
I don't want to out them, so I apologize for the vagueness. But like I had half of this conversation already, and I just flat out told them like I did to an extent you have to be understanding because this is still new. For a lot of us, this is new. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
I said, this particular individual I have known since we were really young. We're talking about like 6, 7 years old, about as old as this guy is claiming to be.
Yes.
It's weird. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and like, and to me, it should be okay to say that this is weird.
Yeah.
To me, because again, it's perspective. I'm not used to the fact that like my friend who I've known since we were so itty bitty is now wearing makeup and painting his nails.
Sure.
That is odd to me.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. He's not hurting anybody.
Right.
He's not doing anything to anyone. And quite frankly, she, whatever. See, there I go again. I don't know what's right. She seems way happier
Yeah, absolutely.
than she ever was before. So, hey, you know what? I'm happy for her. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's not a little weird.
Sure.
Why is it unacceptable for me to say that, like, this is a little weird? And when you go a little further, when you go into this individual right here, you have, look, I understand that there's going to be some people that say they'll be like, you should just be accepting. They, just whatever he says, you should be. All right. For the rest of the country, this seems a little bizarre.
Sure.
Just a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
As you look at people and you think you understand what they're all about. When you see a guy that's 300 pounds with a goatee who pulls in a Harley and is going through my closet and saying, can I wear this dress? Can I wear that dress? Or can I kiss you when I'm wearing the dress? You don't expect.
You know what? That last sentence, it makes me wonder if it isn't some sort of sexual thing.
Right.
And honestly, like to an extent, it almost doesn't even bother me. But when your behavior starts affecting your kid,
Right, but I mean, even that, I mean, it's
I look. I don't know this guy.
It's
I
all
haven't hung-
choice. You
I
know?
haven't hung out with him. I haven't seen what his. This guy might be a great dad. I don't even know.
I thought part of the thing I saw was that he abandoned his children, though.
Is that in this article? Hold on, let me see. Doesn't say anything about him abandoning anything. It might say later in this video. I don't know. The music suggests that, like I said, the music that these people decided to put in the background suggests that they're trying to make this acceptable.
Right.
I'd imagine if he would have done that,
That's
they would
right.
have done that.
Stephanie has moved on, believing that she will never be accepted by her wife and children.
Yeah.
These days, she's got a job plowing snow and has a new family made up of friends and a new relationship.
There's days I forget my past. I can actually go a week without even thinking about what was before. So it's a fresh
You got
start.
7 children, though.
It's interesting because it's new to me, and I'm getting accepted in a way I've never been. There's unconditional love. I'm starting to feel like
And this, again, this part of it I have no problem with. But
I'm all about you finding what's right for you,
we
but
have a
also you have to live
quasi-family
with
that
what
we're
you,
creating,
you know, you have to live
and
with
I'm
what
allowed to
you've
be
done.
exactly
there's
who I
consequences
am,
for your actions.
Oh, absolutely.
and I don't have to apologize.
You have 7
for
children.
making
You need
excuses
a
why I'm different.
Yeah.
I can't deny I was married. I can't deny I have children. But I've moved forward now, and I've gone back to
Unfortunately, this particular article, and I searched for, at the time of this broadcast, I searched for some follow-up, and I could not find any. I really wanted some more details as to find out, like, is this guy shirking his parental responsibilities? When I really couldn't find anything, unfortunately. I wanted to.
Well, he just said he can go weeks at a time without thinking about his past life. So that implies to me that
he's not involved in his kids'
Right.
lives, which would be kind of
awful.
yeah.
being a child. I don't want to be an adult right now, and I just live my life.
That's concerning too.
That sentence is what bugged me the most about this entire thing. I don't want to be an adult right now. A lot of us don't want to be adults.
I'm an adult, and I'm not even an adult. Does that make sense?
It's a little disturbing.
It is a little bit disturbing. It just seems, I don't know.
I understand you don't want to be an adult. I understand you don't want the responsibility. Look, having bills and a mortgage and having to be responsible for other human beings. Hey,
That
look,
sucks.
it's a lot of pressure. But if that's you can't just sit there and do all these actions, have all these kids, and then just pretend like your actions have no consequences.
Well, and I appreciate people looking for their own truth, but you also have to live the life, or not live the life. You also have to deal with what you've done, Like, okay, you have 7 kids, so you owe it to those children to at least, if not be physically present, be monetarily present.
In some way, shape, or form.
Right.
At least a little bit.
Like I couldn't when I was in school.
How are things in your life now?
Well, I have a mommy and daddy, a adopted mommy and daddy, who are totally comfortable with me being a little girl and their children.
That's the people you see, by the way, right there.
Sure.
And I really desperately wanted to hear more from them.
Oh, I'd be curious to hear what they say.
I really will be curious to hear what their take on this whole thing. What? This goes back to the early conversation we had, but like, why don't you say what company you work for? This is why.
Right.
Because when you have conversations like this, you just don't know who's going to be offended by what. Like, if you're part of the LGBT community, right? If you're part of that community, you have to acknowledge that a lot of this is still, time-wise, very new to a lot of people. Now, in 40, 50 years, look, a lot of this might be normal. A lot of this might be considered, hey, look, that's how they identify.
I have questions about this particular case. There's a lot of
question. There's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of red flags. I'd be curious to know about the psychology or implied psychology here, but I'd be curious to see if this is like a thing, if this is a documented occurrence where people want to, as part of being transgender, not just transgender, but like a regressive, age-wise transgender. I'd be curious to see if there's more of this. You know,
I would too.
And their grandchildren.
A lot more
are totally
intelligent
supportive. In
points
fact,
than I can put forth.
her
That's for
youngest
sure.
granddaughter, when I was 8, a year ago I was 8, and she was 7, and she said to me,
That's what I said earlier.
I want you to be the little sister, so
Right.
I'll be 9.
But
I
what
said,
strikes me
"Well, I
about
don't
this
mind
though is
being
that
the 6,
there
so I-
appears to be a lot of choice here. It's not like on the inside I'm a 6-year-old girl. He's all like, I don't want to be an adult, so I want to be a child. And I met another adult who's a child, but they wanted to be the older sibling, so I went ahead and I was the
What you just said is an astounding point. The
Younger
fact that there's
sibling.
a lot of choice
There's
about
a lot
this.
of choice. It's not like, okay, so his truth is that maybe he is transgender, but the specifics about, becoming a 6-year-old girl, that seems to be a very
Yes.
like a
I could not
an
have.
active choice.
You just perfectly summed up what I've been trying to say with this entire thing. I can't say it any better. I'm not even going to try. We got like 15 seconds left.
Been 6 ever since. But we have a great time. And we color, we do kid stuff. It's called play therapy. No medication, no suicide thoughts. And I just get to play.
That's it. Okay, so
All right, well, I think that's about it. That's all I can say about that.
I guess I really want to get my trans friend on here to talk about. I'm gonna push her. I actually got invited. You know what? Let's go ahead and have this conversation. I'm going to have this conversation on the air. This has been my inner dialogue for a while, okay? And I promise we're going to end with something very lighthearted. We're probably going to break and come back with something lighthearted.
Oh no.
I want to bounce this off of you, okay? You ready?
Oh no.
So, my trans friend, right?
Okay.
Okay, he is transitioning to a she.
Okay.
I have known her.
You're having a hard time with this, man.
I am. And I've known her since we were probably 7, 8 years old.
Okay.
And I'm 5 years old now, okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a long time.
Okay.
Really long time. When she first came out to me,
Mm-hmm.
and she had some mental issues before.
Okay.
There were mental hospitals involved. There were a
Well,
lot
I mean,
of things
that
going
kind of stuff can happen when you're being denied of yourself, and
Yeah, so there was a lot going on, and she was fairly open with me through a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And she came out to me and told me that she felt like she was a girl.
Okay.
I wasn't totally surprised.
Okay.
I can't say that I wasn't at all surprised.
Right.
I was absolutely like a little taken aback. Like, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
There was a little bit of, are you sure?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a little bit of that.
Is there any proof?
Sure. But like I wasn't like it wasn't until because we happen to work for the same company. I have 3 jobs right now, so
Mm-hmm.
we happen to work for the same company. I happened to stumble upon her while she was at work,
Mm-hmm.
and she's wearing makeup, wearing fingernail polish,
Mm-hmm.
and for for whatever reason that made it real.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like I for
It's
and not
been-
only
it's-
that, but
it's-
like
it's gone past
she's
idea
been-
to reality.
yeah, she's been going through the therapy. She's had hormone therapy now for a couple of months, probably,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even longer than that. So like her skin is starting to smooth out a little bit.
Mhm.
You know, like there is if you go through estrogen therapy as a man, or if you go through testosterone therapy as a woman, your body does go through some physical changes, and they are absolutely noticeable. That's something that I learned. I am invited to her coming out party.
Cool. Let's go back to the
I
drinking
feel
earlier.
is it? But
Do you
here-
need a Mary Poppins at this party?
maybe, but is it wrong to say that I'm a little nervous about even going?
Nah. Well, no.
It's
No.
it just
Because, well, okay, and then I think I heard something about a story similar to this. Like, the people that knew you before are going to be weirded out.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't want. Here's the thing. Like, I don't want to be. I would love to sit here and say that, like, I'm totally accepting.
I was gonna say you're a totally open-minded dude.
I really like. It doesn't. I have struggled with this, and this is the whole reason why I'm bringing this up on Mike, because I really don't even. It's difficult for me to even sum up my feelings because I can't even sit here and say that like I'm uncomfortable. I can't say that I'm totally comfortable with it.
Right.
But I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm uncomfortable with it either. Like seriously, like this is the happiest I've ever seen her.
Right.
Just go in years. Like
just go. Offer your support. Not your choice. There you go. End of the story.
I wish I could say that, but on some level, like I'm uncomfortable.
Right. Well, go and show your support.
It might be the venue, maybe the fact that like it's a kind of a known LGBTQ whatever.
Well, just go and show your support.
It'd be fun for the. I should go. I really should. If I it needs to be said. Like if I don't have any other obligations, I'm probably going to go.
This is a friend of yours who obviously seeks your counsel and opinion.
She was when she was going through all of.
So I think
all of the drama leading up to it, not necessarily the actual transition.
Right.
She came to me at some point when she came out of rehab, and it's up to her if she wants to say what it is. I feel bad. I even said rehab, but when she came to me, she flat out told me, she's like, "There's something that I need to tell you, but I'm uncomfortable." She flat out said, like, "I'm not ready to talk about it yet." And I was like, "Okay, look, whatever it is, it's fine." And this was before the Call Me Caitlin stuff, by the way.
Sure.
This was right before it, strangely enough. This was like a month before that happened. She came, we met one night, and she was still he at that point. She just finds always like, there's something that I want to talk to you, that I really want to talk to you about, but I just don't feel like I can right now. I was like, all right, that's fine. Like, look, I'm not going to drag it out of you, whatever it is. I ain't going to lie. The fact that, he wanting to be a she was not anything that came to mind. Like, there was a whole bunch of scenarios in my head. That was not one of them. And now I don't know. Like, we'll see. That party is coming up in a couple of weeks.
Well, I think you should go. I think you should go and just enjoy it. And
I think you're probably right.
Be there for your friend, who obviously looked for your counsel. And if it's the venue I'm thinking of, it's a pretty cool venue. I went and saw a few shows over there.
Yeah, it is in the city, and I'm not a fan of the city in general at night, but it's like I said, it's kind of a known. Well, we'll see.
I think
we'll see. She already kind of excused me from it. We actually had a conversation, like literally last night. Last night we were talking for a little bit, and she told me because we were talking specifically about that.
Right.
And I just flat out told her, I was like, it's the middle of the city. It's a venue I don't feel totally comfortable because it's a venue specifically built towards that.
Just go. I guarantee you'll have a good time.
You're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably right.
And because I know who you're talking about, I know you're also going to be around other people who you know and are comfortable with.
Probably. Yeah.
So I think you're fine.
I probably should.
You're gonna.
I the more I talk about it, the more I think like I probably should go.
It's gonna be great. Actually, one of our old coworkers did a show there one time.
Oh yeah.
And I went to go see her do that. It was a great time. Had a good time.
Yeah, I should.
Mm-hmm.
I should, but I really want to get her on this show, and here's the reason why: is because I feel like people like me are more common than like the bigot who's like completely like railroading, like the people who are just like.
So the people who are just genuinely
not sure what to make of it
and not aware or not sure what to think of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really think people like me are probably more common than the bigot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, where you cross over into bigot is where you start condemning people as being wrong. So like, because
I don't think she's wrong. Like,
right.
Like the individual, like we just like in this story, the
a bigot would be
girl.
A bigot assumes that because other people are not living up to their own standards, that they're wrong. That's a bigot.
Yeah.
And that's not what you're
And
saying.
I don't think she's wrong. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's, dude. I'm telling you, like I have never seen her like this.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen her be happier. And
If this person is staying out of trouble and is living life the way that they always wanted to live their life, and are actually happy, I'd say it's a success and a change.
and
that
she's
needs-
not hurting anyone. I think that's the.
But if it was a change that was necessary to be made for this person to live successfully,
Sure.
then yeah, that's the right decision.
Okay. I couldn't have said any better. Let's go to break because I don't think we can follow that up with anything. Let's go to
Nope.
break, and we'll come back with a lighthearted. We need to do something Christmassy. It's end of year.
Oh, yeah.
Christmas. We need to do something like
Christmas.
that. So we're gonna go to break, and then we're gonna come back with a little Christmas fun. Shall
Let's
we?
do that.
All right. You want to pick a number, or should I just
do it. Pick some.
Pick one. Okay. Let's. Now, don't you worry. They're taking a break, but they will be back to do some more show just for you. And you. And you. Well, who are we kidding? Just a few of you.